For the longest time, I've been saying that Mario Strikers Battle League is one of the games I regret buying the most, but I think we might have a new game that is trying to take over that position. Super Mario Party Jamboree Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Jamboree TV. That is quite a mouthful to say. As the name of the game implies, this is basically the Switch 2 edition of Mario Party Jamboree, Super Mario Party Jamboree, with additional DLC or additional content with Jamboree TV. Most people will pick up this version of the game for $20, as it is a $20 upcharge for the Switch 2 edition of the game that includes Jamboree TV. But I'm super smart, so I spent another $80 to play Super Mario Party Jamboree again, even though I already have it for Nintendo Switch. But anyways, today I wanted to go over my thoughts on Jamboree TV and just my thoughts on Mario Party Jamboree on Switch 2. Is it good? Is it worth picking up for $20 or even $80? I'm going to say this right now. No, it's not. I want to make it clear though before we get into this, this is not talking about Mario Party Jamboree on its own. I really love Mario Party Jamboree. I think that it's one of the best Mario Party games of all time. This is just kind of talking about what is included in the Jamboree TV and just the additions in this version of the game. So this is not a review on Mario Party Jamboree. Mario Party Jamboree on its own is a great game. This is just more so talking about the new additional content with the Switch 2 edition. I just wanted to clear that up now before we get into this video. But anyways, with Super Mario Party Jamboree Nintendo Switch 2 edition plus Jamboree TV, I'm just going to call it Jamboree TV for the sake of this video because I don't want to say this whole name of the game a lot. But essentially with this mode, you get two different options for modes. You have your Carnival Coaster, is that what it's called? Yep, Carnival Coaster and Bowser Live. Those are your two main modes that were added in this version for $20. And you know what? For $20, I thought we would get more out of this. I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to kind of talk briefly about the two modes because there's not really a lot to talk about with them. If I'm being completely honest, like these two modes are just kind of whatever. Starting with Carnival Coaster, it's fine. It showcases the mouse controls of the game. It's kind of like River Survival from Super Mario Party, and at least that one was a little bit interesting. This one, you literally just use the mouse Joy-Con to shoot some enemies. You do some mouse mini games, and they're fine. They're nothing too crazy. I'm not really a huge fan of the mouse mini games, not gonna lie. I feel like that the sensitivity from the Carnival Coaster going into the mini games, there's just a huge difference there because when you're in the Carnival Coaster, like that main mode in between mini games, the sensitivity is pretty quick, but then when you get into a mini game, it just feels really slow. I don't know if that's just me or not. That's something I picked up. And you're basically just playing an auto-scroller and shooting enemies and doing some mini games, and it's not super interesting. I only did a couple rounds. I did the volcano one. I think that was what it was. The first one, and then I tried the trail one. Didn't get that far because I guess I suck at the mouse mini games. But I mean, I'm gonna assume that the other ones are kind of like that first one, where it's like shoot enemies, you play mini games, you get time by doing well mini games, and your goal is to try to reach the end of the Carnival Coaster by shooting enemies and by playing mini games. That's all this mode really has. There's not much to talk about. It really is just an auto score mode with shooting enemies. It's not super crazy. The mini games are fine in this mode. I mean, the mouse mini games are fine in general, but like it's not something I see myself going back to a lot. And that's really unfortunate because again, I spent $20. Actually, I spent $80 for this. But I essentially spent $20 for this mode, and that's like half of the package there. The other half of the package, though, is Bowser TV. Bowser Live. That's what's well, not Bowser TV. Bowser Live. In this mode, you have the option to play microphone minigames and camera minigames. So if you don't have a camera, you're only able to play microphone minigames. And if I'm not mistaken, there's only 3 of each. So like, there's not really much content in Bowser Live to begin with. You only have 6 minigames to play. And that's it. I feel like that the camera's fine for this mode. I mean, like when I was playing the question block one, granted in my room I don't have a lot of space, so that's definitely a more me problem than the game's problem. But like it didn't register a lot of my hits and stuff. That was more of the camera than the minigame. The minigames are fine. I mean, like there's like balancing the Goombas on your head. That one works for what it does. I'm not good at it because for some reason when I was playing, even though my camera was on a solid surface, it was like slanted. So I was like just slanted the whole time. So I had to kind of like adjust my body to like, you know, not be slanted in there. And that just kind of made the balancing in the game a lot more difficult than it needed to be. I just wish that if you're playing on single player, because I was playing on single player, I was playing these on my own. Maybe my experience with this whole game would have been a bit better if I was playing with other people. But regardless, when it comes to the game, I wish that in single player it would just default to your camera being the middle, and then it'll just like move you to whatever place you are instead of you having to be a certain spot on the screen for it to detect you. I don't know, that's just a little nitpick, I guess. It's kind of annoying because like I was like way over, like away from like where my setup is, so like, I was not able to really see. So that was kind of dumb. But anyways, the microphone minigames. There's the car one. It's called Bowser's Chicken. That's a pretty great one. You shout. I shouted balls because I thought that was funny. You shout, and then the car goes. It's whatever. I mean, like I said, these mini games aren't super crazy. They're not that great. They're very gimmicky, which I mean makes sense because you know they're camera microphone mini games. I don't care for microphone or camera mini games. The mouse ones are a bit better, but like then again, I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling here because I just got done with this. I don't really have much to say about this game, if I'm being completely honest. I wanted to make a video on this where I just kind of ramble about the game for a little bit. And what I will say is that if you're thinking about getting Jamboree TV, I mean, for $20, it's definitely not worth it. I'll keep it at that. For $80, if you want to pick this up physically, only get this if you don't have Mario Party Jamboree yet and you want to play it. But for $80, this is definitely not worth it. For $20, I don't think it is. There are 2 other Nintendo Switch 2 Edition games that are on the Switch already with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I didn't make videos on these because all they added were the Zelda notes and stuff like that. This one is the first one to have like substantial DLC, I guess. So, you know, I was kind of actually excited for this one when it came out because I was like, oh, we're getting like Mario Party DLC. This is going to be the first Mario Party game to have DLC. And it just turned out to be a couple extra side modes. And like, you know, side modes in Mario Party are fine, but they're not as good as the main board, like the main Mario Party mode, which really sucks. And these 2 especially, I think, are some of the weakest in the entire series. I won't lie. That's all I really have to say about Jamboree TV. I really wish that when they went in and did Mario Party DLC that they added some more boards, stuff like that. I mean, there's a couple like new play modes or like rule sets for this version of the game, which it's kind of dumb that those are locked behind a paywall. Especially since, like, I think it was like tag team, where you play 2 versus 2. That's locked behind this version of the game. And then the other one is like frenzy mode or whatever, where it's like you have 5 turns and you like start with like a number of coins, stars, whatever. I don't know. I didn't try those because like it's just Mario Party. I mean, the Mario Party mode is fun in this game. I didn't think it was necessary to go into those, but like the fact that those are locked behind a $20 paywall is just kind of dumb. You're basically though paying for $10 for each of these side modes, and they're just not worth that price point. I think that this should have been like a $10 upgrade pack like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom were. Even though it added a good bit of new content, even though it has new content like DLC, I think that this is maybe worth $10 extra more, if even that. But that's it for my ramble about Super Mario Party Jamboree, Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Jamboree TV. At least next month, we got Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Star-Crossed Worlds. I'm really excited for that one. Another very long name. I think that the long names are funny. I mean, just look at that. Like, they're all just really long. This one especially because it has plus Jamboree TV. But anyways, that's all I really have to say about it. I know this was a bit of a ramble session here. I don't do these kind of ramble sessions usually when I do these kind of first impressions, but like there just isn't much to talk about with Jamboree TV. I wanted to do a quick little video on it because, you know, I want to get my thoughts on it. I just think it's kind of fun whenever Nintendo does a new release for Switch 2. I just get my thoughts on it. So this one is probably one of the more ramble heavy ones when compared to the other ones I've done so far. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. This game, I don't think it's worth it. If you want to play Mario Party Jamboree on Switch 2, sure, pick this up. But if you're interested in getting Jamboree TV, not worth it. I don't think the 2 side modes are worth it at all. But with that being said, that's all I have for this one. If you enjoyed this little ramble session of Mario Party Jamboree Switch 2 Edition, make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, helps me out a ton. But with that being said, I'm the biggest nub on YouTube, Chris Sando, signing off. And as always, goodbye, Nub Nation.